Hello, everybody out in Facebook land. I'm Kathy Beal, and I am with Lauren Moran, who I have personally appointed as a poster woman for Pluto and Aquarius. And we'll explain why in just a moment. Lauren is an entrepreneur. She's a content creator. She's an influencer. She is an activist. She's a theatrical artist, many things. And as I was explaining to Lauren before we went live, I've been following your posts on Instagram since we reconnected. We've been floating in the same community for 17, 20 years, long time.
Yeah.
And we reconnected in November at a library event in your town, which is Boonton. So I've been following you on Instagram since then, and I realized that what you're doing is the personal embodiment of an astrological influence, essentially with us for the next 20 years, which is Pluto in Aquarius, reshaping how we experience power collectively and individually, moving it gradually from big institutions to people and individuals. And you are definitely doing that. So I would like to explore it to show people how simply doing what you believe in can further this, because I think you're doing what we're all going to be called upon to do. So you have many, many things that you're involved in. You care to just sort of talk about them, what you do?
Yeah. I was born and raised in theater, so that's my first love. My parents met in the theater. I grew up going to rehearsals, shows, and while I love it, I don't feel I mean I feel fulfilled doing theater, but I believe, and my dad and I have this conversation all the time, that I have other gifts that I'm supposed to be doing. So theater kind of opened the door for me to do more altruistic work, which is what I enjoy. I enjoy helping people. I feel that that is my true calling. I do believe that I am somewhat of a healer. Um, People come to me all the time for help. My DMs are always blowing up every day with messages from people, and I'm always happy to share. So I ended up running for office in twice, and I've lost twice. I always say I'm a two-time loser, but in a way, I feel like I won because I was able to, by running for office, I was able to meet different groups of people who I would never have the opportunity to meet if I was just doing theater. Because at that point, it was mostly actors, directors, producers. But running for office, I was able to network and really become part of different communities. And I really think the biggest thing for me was not being afraid. So I become fearless in a lot of ways in using my voice. And I do credit that to theater, putting myself out there. So I kind of took it upon myself to be the influencer in Bhutan and really highlight our mom and pop shops. We have different organizations in town. So I've been able to use my theater background, everything that I've been trained as an actor and as a theater educator, and then broaden it and then bring it into a whole new world. So I feel like now I am starting to actually use my gifts, which is the reason why I'm here. Because up until now, I don't know if I felt truly, truly fulfilled
Mhm.
just doing theater. Like I love it. I love theater and I love educating, but there was still like a piece of me that I always felt like I still feel like I have a different calling, and I still think there's more for me to do globally, not just locally, but starting locally, like they say with politics.
Mhm.
Local is where it all happens. So I'm starting locally and I'm hoping to broaden. But really, that's my story, like a total theater kid. Parents, and then now I'm in this new position and I am absolutely loving it. And I love the people that I met, and they've really opened up my eyes, being able to be in these different little pockets, these different little communities. So
Now, I want to break this down into a whole bunch of parts here. I remember when you were still running for office the last time, you were all over town. You were publicly posting, meeting this person, that person. You were in one restaurant or cafe or a coffee shop and letting people know when you were going to be there. I mean, I think that when we reconnected, you were headed down to this terrific wine bar where I have given hundreds of dollars for your birthday celebration. You know, so you were very open about here's where I am, here's where you can find me, and then actually really talking with people once you got there. And now you're doing things with that. But let me back up. It seems to me you started the activism portion of this before all of this was there. Haven't you advocated for special needs, for example?
Yes, I actually teach autistic children. I work at the Mayo Performing Arts Center. I am a teaching artist. I've been there close to 10 years and I absolutely love it. I do enjoy teaching. There's something about it's called the Miracle Project, and it's for children with special needs children. So I teach on Saturdays and I absolutely love it, and I see the difference that theater makes in these children's lives. And I literally live for that class every week. I love these kids so much with my whole heart. I also collaborated with a former student of mine from about 20 years ago. I will say like 18 years ago. Her twin brother is autistic and she works at a school for special needs. It's called Celebrate the Children. And she came up to me and said, I would love to do a talent show with my guys. She calls them her guys. So what she did was she started a business called Sharper Speech, where she works with adults, because once the special needs community reaches 21, there's really nothing for them to do anymore. This is all I learned from her. They're called the lost community. So she said, would you want to collaborate and put on a talent show? And I was like, yes, I would. And that was actually very life-changing for me, that experience, to watch all these adults get up on stage. And let me tell you, they owned it. They owned the performance. I think I cried the entire time. I cried the entire time. And it's one of my pride and joys at my theater that I did. So I very much advocate for the special needs community. And I'm a very, very big advocate for veterans. So
I was going to ask you about that. Tell us about your veterans work.
So I very much support veterans. I understand that I could be talking to you right now because of the freedoms that we have in the United States. So it really started with my friend. He does a lot of photography work with me, who's a veteran. So he started, shooting me, doing modeling shoots and this and that. And we become really, really, really great friends. So I would promote him. And ironically enough, he's going to have a gallery in Boonton, which I'm very, very, very excited about. It's going to be opening soon. I also have a friend named Michael O'Hagan, who is he's a veteran, but he's still active duty. And he wrote a play. So what we did was I produced that play at my theater. We did a stage reading, and we were able to raise, through a match donation, $1,200, which I donated to Army of Hope. I'm also the chaplain in our local Elks Lodge in Boonton. So Army of Hope is one of the committees through the Elks, and they take care of families of fallen soldiers, we'll say, to keep an eye on them. So I was able to donate $1,200 to that organization. So that'll go to families. So that means a lot to me. Veterans, especially my dad is a veteran. My dad's a Marine. So I appreciate the sacrifice, because I understand all the things I can do here in the US is because someone decided to fight for our rights and keep our rights here.
And you're also involved with Boonton Pride, correct?
I am involved with Boonton Pride, as a theater educator and as a person that works in theater. I definitely support the LGBTQ community. I support the trans community. I have students that range, I have my autistic students. So I have been supporting this community basically my entire life. I mean, I grew up in theater. So for me, it was a no-brainer. So when Pride started happening in our town, I was like, oh, I want to be involved. So I get the performers, and actually your friend's going to be bringing the carousel, which I'm really excited about too. when I met him, I said, "Can you come to Pride this year? I think that would be so much fun." Last year, I taught a maypole dance. So we actually have like you can make your own rainbow like around the pride pole. So I very much support. I think everyone has a voice. Everyone deserves to be seen. And I proudly display my boot and rainbow pride sign in front of my house so people know that they can come to me anytime. And literally, I am like my front porch. My neighbors will just come up on my front porch. I am that person that if you need someone to talk to, just shoot me a DM and I'll meet you for coffee. If you need a shoulder to lean on, like call me because I'd rather you call me than be sitting home alone and feeling bad and not knowing how to deal with it. And I'm a very good listener. I'm a talker, but I'm also a very good listener. I know how to shut up.
And we're going to play Guess the Sun Sign before we're done here. I personally think it's glaringly obvious, but that's okay. The other thing, all right, so going back, you ran for office, you were on the library board of trustees, the new administration came in, all the members of your political party that were on the board did not get reappointed to the board, and then you sat and decided what you were going to do with it. So some people would have just been playing sour grapes, walking around bad mouthing things. You started a podcast.
I did.
What's the podcast called?
So it's called Small Town Big Voice because if you drive through Boonton, you can know that our hashtag is Small Town Big Heart. So I was trying to think of a name of the show. And I was like, one day it just hit me. I was like, oh my gosh, Small Town Big Voice. So what I do is I highlight what's going on in town, whether it's the town council, whether it's a ribbon cutting, whether it's a business that's like, hey, I'm doing this. I want to get people in town. And I actually got a message, a DM from someone. They said, hey, we saw your video because we have a video that's still going viral out there. And they said, we've never been to Boonton. We came, we love it. Thank you so much. And I had this great conversation with this woman. She said, I love Main Street. She's like, what a great Main Street you have. She goes, I don't have this type of Main Street. I will definitely be back. And we already said, well, let's meet up for coffee. So yeah, you know what? You do get like a little bitter when you get taken off of something. I mean, I'm having this human experience. So I was a little bit annoyed, but I also believe that the universe protects us and the universe does move us. And sometimes we don't realize why we're being moved at the time. But anytime I've been rejected from something or removed from something or disappointed by something, a year later, I'm like, oh yeah, that's why I was removed. So, but I do allow myself to feel annoyed or feel disappointed. I'm not afraid to call people out. I'll always do it politely. You're never going to see me post anything that's vitriol or rude. I only post facts. So with my show, like I have talked about some things that have happened in the town council, and I haven't had much clap back because I'm pretty nonpartisan. That means a lot to me. If I'm going to be this influencer in town, that I need to be nonpartisan because our town is diverse, politically, economically. If you've been to our town and our restaurants. I mean, it's like the United Nations. I mean, you could eat in any country you want in Boonton. So I haven't had a lot of clapback with my show because I'm not saying anything that's not true. I'm not coloring it. I'm not opinionizing it. Is that even a word? I just made it up. I'm just telling everyone what's happening. And I will tell you, my followers are definitely going up. Definitely going.
One thing I noticed is you started teaching people about what the rules are. Some of the episodes I've seen have featured an explanation of how a town is governed and how municipal ordinances are passed and what happens and telling people what their role could be and encouraging, getting back to my main point, community activism, community involvement. You're giving people information that empowers them and encourages them to go do something with it.
Yes, because I think people don't understand. So I ran for office twice. I ran 2 years in a row and I started going to the town council meetings. And I'm going to tell you, I didn't know what was going on when I first went to these meetings, but I sat and I listened and I watched. And now I understand. I understand the lines. Essentially, we'll say, I mean, it's a show. I mean, it is a show. It is, they're on a stage, they're on this dais, whether they're Democrat or Republican, they're all up there together. But I don't think people realize that they do have more rights than they do. I think they think that it's a dictatorship, and it's not. It is a democracy. And these people that got elected for office, they do want to hear from you. That's why they have their emails. And I'm not afraid to write an email. I'm not afraid to make a post. And I think other people need to do the same. So I think the most confusing thing is an agenda, which I did just, one of my followers explained the agenda from the last meeting, because I think that gets intimidating for people with the language. I mean, even when you watch like big government, you're listening to what they're saying. It's like, it's hard to understand because there's a lot of nuance to it. So my goal is to get people to go to meetings or at least tune in on Zoom so you can understand what is happening, because it's going to change something whether you want it to or not. Like they always say, like local levels where change happens. It is, and it's going to happen whether you pay attention or not. So you might not want to be vocal at a town council meeting, which is fine. That's not for everybody, but at least you can know what's going on, and then at least you know who the players are. And then you find, like you'll find your people that you can relate to. I'm on a bunch of group texts with people, and they'll ask me questions about this, or this one's like supporting the tree ordinance, or this one is supporting the pride flag, or this one's supporting, they want public comments opened on Zoom again. So it's really interesting. I've actually made quite a bit of new friends through this experience. If I actually don't regret losing at all, which is why I kind of say it's tongue in cheek, because I absolutely have met some of my best friends through this experience. Like some of these people have only been in my life for like 3 years. And we talk about it all the time. They're like, I cannot imagine a life without you. It's so weird. I feel like we've been friends forever. So I definitely feel that I'm not a politician. And I would always say I am not a politician at all. But I do enjoy being involved and learning. And the people that I've met have definitely helped me grow, and they've made me better.
And then you've passed it on to other people.
Yeah. I will share I will share anything. I am not afraid. I had a cold sore. I posted about that the other day. Like I'm pretty much an open book. What you see is what you get. And when you put yourself out there, you do get some negative comments too, which is always fun to deal with. But I'm putting myself out there, and come to me, ask me any question. I will share anything with anyone.
And that leads to the final thing I've noticed. I said also personal empowerment. You are extraordinarily self-revealing in your posts, and you seem to be very open about grappling with certain life transitions or certain moments, one of them being deciding to let the silver come out in your hair. I personally am a big advocate of that. I earned every damn one of my silver streaks.
Yeah.
So, but that it has a take me as I am, I don't have any F's left to give vibe to it, which also completely fits with what's going on astrologically.
Yeah, I mean, this is who I am. If you don't like me, that's fine. I always say, if you don't like me, you're free to leave. There's the door. I'm just not promising it's going to be open when you decide you want to come back in, because I'm not changing for anyone. I'm not watering myself down. I got a sweatshirt from Todd, and it says, be kind of a bitch, which is funny, which is tongue in cheek. I'm always going to be kind and thoughtful, but it's okay to be a little bit of a bitch. I don't know if you ever watched the show Yellowstone, but I love Beth Dutton. I mean, it's a TV show, so she's obviously extreme, but I'm like, we all need like a little Beth Dutton in us, because as women, we're kind of conditioned to be people pleasers. I mean, we just are. We keep the peace. We're the homemaker, we're the loving ones. And I think we're afraid to step into our power. And this was my year. I was like, no, I'm ready for what the universe wants me to do. I hear you. And I hold myself back too. Like there are some days when I'm like, I am blocked today. And I can't figure out why. Or I'm having like a real human, like I get anxiety 100%. And I trying to work through that will definitely block me. like in a day. And but yeah, Beth Dutton, man, if you don't watch Yellowstone, she is fierce. I love fierce females and I love empowering women and men too. But as a woman, I relate to, other women. And I get most of my messages are from women.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. You inspire me. I love your posts. Thank you for what you do for Booten. We appreciate you. Can I meet you? Can I ask what you use on your hair? What do you use on your skin? And I will tell you everything. Like I literally had a woman message me. She was so nice. And she was like, can you share something about yourself? And I was like, sure, just what would you like me to share? Because there's a lot and I want to answer you. And she wanted me to share my background, but she was curious about my hair. She's like, what hair products do you use? And I said, I'm at rehearsal. I'll send you a picture when I get home. And I did. It was like hours and hours later, but I sent her all the pictures of all my hair care products. And I sent her like a lengthy note on what I do. And if she has any more questions, I'm happy to meet with her. But yeah, just putting yourself out there. It's scary though. I think it's scary to put yourself out there. It is scary. And I got into it when I started modeling. Part of my reason why I started modeling was because I wanted to be unafraid. And I would do some lingerie shoots with my friend Dennis, who's a veteran, and I trusted him. And it was the most empowering experience that I have. And I actually had another friend that just shot with him. And I was really proud of her. And she said, where should I shoot? I said, well, where do you feel good? She goes, what should I wear? I said, well, I can't tell you what to wear because I'm not you. I said, what do you have that you like? She's like, well, I have these pair of shoes. I said, so make it around those shoes. And they ended up shooting at her dance studio and the pictures came out gorgeous and she looked beautiful because that's her place, because there's room for us all. Like, that's the funny thing is I think people, and I'm not afraid to promote other people because I don't feel like it's a competition. Like, I think I did a reel where it was like, what do you do with the competition? I'm like, what competition? I don't feel competition with anyone because there's room for everyone. There's room for us all down here. And in the next consciousness, there's room for us all.
So probably the best place for people to see what you're up to is to follow you on Instagram, right?
Yeah. Mills is on Instagram and then Lauren Moran is on Facebook. I have a pretty decent following on both. I am Lomo Mills on TikTok. I have a nice following there. I will admit I scroll on TikTok. I'm not the best in posting on TikTok all the time, but a lot of my content, it's Facebook and Instagram.
And that's Lomo, LOMOMILLS.
Yep, Lomo Mills.
Mills.
Yeah. Follow me and DM me. I will answer you back. Not if you're pervy. I don't answer those. But if you have like a legit question for me, I do really take pride that if someone's taking the time to DM me with a question, I want to make sure they feel seen and they feel heard. And hopefully I can help them.
And for people who are wondering what town we're talking about, it is Boonton, New Jersey, Boonton. And it was a site of two movies. It was used to shoot two movies in the last couple of years. 3. Okay. I know about Jules, Jules, a wonderful film about flying, an alien. And it involves city council meetings, so that's kind of fun. And then Dumb Money. And what was the third one?
I'm not sure what it's called, but it's a movie with Brandy. So they filmed that. It's a horror movie with Brandy. They actually filmed it in one of our homes in town was sold and torn down, which some people were upset about, but it was a private sale. And it's going to be senior housing now. But before they tore down the house, they filmed this horror movie. It was kind of cool. It was on Lathrop Ave. It was kind of cool driving by and seeing all the filming. And just a little side note, you don't even have to say Boonton, New Jersey. There's only one Boonton in the whole United States, which is why on our water tower, it just says Boonton, USA. And I will
I did not know that.
Boonton is the greatest town in the universe. I said what I said.
Well, I sure like to go there. So thanks very much, Lauren. I'm really glad that you spent the time with us.
Yes, I'm glad we found a place where I was able to. I'm in a school, so it's fine. I don't mind standing outside. I'm glad we found a place where my Wi-Fi was working.
Wonderful. All right. Well, I will meet up with you, and I think I know where. So, Umbra, here we come. Thanks a bunch.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.